Teammates celebrating all the goals and getting ready for that big race. There's plenty of ups and downs tonight as we race for that wall. This one promises to be a slam dunk. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. This show's fuller than Roger E. Carlson on Joe Young bobblehead night. Hey, we have so much to bring everybody.
We do. We have a lot of stuff to cover, and we are really getting to crunch time. We're going to be talking about some conference championship action already in the winter season, and it's going to just snowball from here as everybody gets into tournament time. Boys hockey team still a couple of weeks in their left in their regular season. Last week, a couple of non-conference games started on the road against St. Paul Johnson, and they blanked the Governors 6-0. Eli Bowden with a couple of goals and an assist. Ben Kish had a multiple goal night as well. Nathan Clark had 3 points in the game. Nick Espinoza, a goal and an assist. Mark Danik with 13 saves, not terribly busy. Records his first varsity shutout. Unfortunately, not so pretty on Thursday night against Tartan. Tartan blew up for 9 goals, 6 of them in the second period, and coasted to the 9-1 win. Tartan actually only put 1 shot on goal in the third period. I don't think they were trying too hard. Will Marty getting the lone tally to keep the Cardinals from being shut out. Well, Coon Rapids closed out the week at home on Saturday afternoon, facing a struggling Osseo squad. The Orioles were just 2-12-2. They were scoring less than 2 goals a game and giving up more than 5. So it seemed a perfect opponent for a bounce-back game. No score until late in the first. Senior captains on a 2-on-1. Nathan Clark saucers it to Harry Koval for the one-timer. That sent the home team to the locker room with a 1-0 lead. Cardinals dictating the tempo, but not able to get too much past the keeper. They finally add to the lead a little more than midway through the second. On the power play, Clark feeding Nick Espinoza. Top of the crease, he hammers it home, gives Coon Rapids a little cushion. Eli Bowden adds another just 2 minutes later. Great individual effort and patience as he gets around the keeper, slides it home. His 10th goal of the season. He becomes the 3rd Cardinal to reach 20 points this year. Osseo does get one back late in the second. Turnover just inside the blue line. Durkop makes the initial save, but Ty Prokop cashes in on the rebound. That's as close as it would get. Cardinals add a shorthanded empty net goal in the third. Rowan Bresnahan fires it goal line to goal line. Cardinals get the 4-1 win, their second in the Northwest Suburban this season. You know, and that was a big win they had to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're playing well. 8 wins on the season. I think that you said that in the beginning of the year. You weren't sure where this team would be, but I think that's pretty respectable. And they're playing well. And
they have a handful of games left that are still winnable. They could get to double digits. Yep. I believe it was 9 wins that they had just I think it was 3 seasons ago when they had 2 kids with the same last name that were pretty good and put up 70 or 80 points between the 2 of them. That's outside of that 1 year. This is the only team that has put up a record like this in at least a decade. And with 3 guys now with 20
points.
Just
going to mention that.
Harry Koval at 19, so he will get there.
It's been a while.
You have to go back a very long way before you see 4 guys on that roster with 20 or more points. They are at Rogers on Thursday. Rogers will be very tough. They're back home on Saturday to host Woodbury, and that's another winnable non-conference contest. Girls hockey team started last week with a trip to Elk River. They beat Elk River, you may remember, 5-0 in the Kaposia Classic. Little different story. The Elk River goalie standing on her head as the Bluebirds dominated the game, outshot them 40-15, but they only cashed in once. Elk River able to hand them a 3-1 loss and end their great win streak. The last goal coming on an empty net. Kennedy Bolander had the lone goal for the Bluebirds.
Well, those Bluebirds were hoping to get back on the winning track when they traveled to Dick Vrah Arena in Osseo on Saturday. The Osseo Park Center squad had just 1 win in their previous 8 games, but that included some very close contests against very good teams. CPCR was a game or 2 ahead in the standings, but they couldn't afford to take this game lightly. Bluebirds flying high in the first, out shooting the Blackbirds 15-6. Kylie Scott shot a stop, but Molly Terabeza is on the doorstep. She puts the rebound home, her team leading 14th of the year. Cardinals continue to control late in the first. Great feed back to the back door. Lily McKenzie with the one-time finish. CPCR has a 2-0 lead going into the second. OPC cut into the lead, but the Bluebirds respond. Emma Strauss down the left wing, stops and shoots. Abby Ness crashing for the rebound. That restores the 2-goal lead. Now check this out. Gorgeous goal from Kennedy Bolander. Short-handed, takes it end-to-end. Skate move to the backhand, flips it up and over the keepers. You're going to see here. She's going to make it 4-1 Bluebirds midway through. That was far from over. OPC scored late in the second and stole the momentum into the third period. Taveri Schreiner gets the wrister just inside the far post to even the game at 4. And late in the game, Maya Anderson able to fire it past Boucher's glove. Osseo Park Center with 4 unanswered goals, and they steal away the victory. 5-4 was the final.
Yeah, and the girls' squad's had a great season, first year under Coach Gutterman, but that's one I think they look at as one that definitely got away from them. Not only because they had the 4-1 lead midway through the second period, but also because looking at their schedule, especially down the stretch, they have some very good games, hard games. That was probably one they looked at as this is one we really want to win because it's one of those lesser opponents in our end of season schedule. Upcoming at Blaine on Wednesday, and then they host Rogers on Friday. And Howie?
We'll be there.
And that's the regular season finale. Yep. It's their first annual military appreciation
that'll be nice.
Night. But that's a tough one. Rogers is a conference team or a section team, and that will have all the markings of a section tournament game, and it could potentially end up being a first round matchup.
I think Rogers only has 4 losses on the season. I think they're ranked in the QRF rating in the top 10 in the polls. So they're a good team, and that's again a huge challenge.
Well, the wrestling team is on a bit of a roll. They went to Austin last Thursday for a quadrangular, and they rolled over Rochester Century 66-18, then beat the host Austin team 64-15. And then in the final match of the evening, they went up against Mankato East, and a very tight, dramatic finish. The Cardinals hold on. A bunch of guys having great outings. Bridenstine, Lilly, Skradsky, Jeebly, and Podubny all going 3-0 on the day. Octavian Podubny securing his title as FedEx because he delivers. They came right back on Friday for a contest. Not a lot of time off. That was kind of a weird schedule. They go down to Austin on Thursday, have 3 matches, and then they're right back home on Friday. 4 matches in 2 days.
It's a lot of wrestling, but they're certainly used to it.
Well, as I mentioned, right back on the mat Friday night, hosting a dual meet with non-conference East Ridge. The Raptors are really struggling for numbers, so they were forced to forfeit 9 of the 14 weight classes. Of the remaining 5 matches that actually took place, the Cardinals went 3-2 with bonus points in all 3 wins. Cardinals wrestling program honoring its alumni at the Fieldhouse on Friday night, first time in almost 2 years. East Ridge started the action with a major decision at 113, but Jaden Lilly does one better. He dominates the Raptors' Hayden Christensen, winning by a tech fall, continuing his outstanding freshman season. Timmy Horst taking the mat against Riley Kane at 138. Good job controlling the action and forcing Kane to his back. He will get the pin. And finally, this young man has had plenty of Sportsnight highlights, but never for wrestling. David Jeebly picking it up and throwing it down. A brand new sport, his winter senior season. He gets a solid 10-1 major decision. Cardinals soar to a 70-10 win. That's their 8th straight dual meet win.
Yeah, I mean, they're 13 wins on the season, and I think their record now 13-8. And typically, you look at this wrestling program, and the record's usually a little bit better than that. But I think they've done a really nice job considering they've wrestled some inexperienced wrestlers, and they've dealt with a number of things on the mat as well.
Scheduling has been favorable as well,
absolutely,
and as it really should be with the youth on this team. But they do also have some talent. We've talked about it all winter long. A couple of sophomore captains that have been outstanding all year long, just don't have the numbers, and you're seeing it a lot. We've seen a lot of teams that have had been forced to forfeit just because numbers down in a lot of programs, unfortunately. And I think it's across pretty much all schools and all sports, especially those that have to recruit for high school sports. And a lot of that is due to the restrictions over the last couple of seasons. They will have another quad on Thursday at Chaska, North St. Paul, and Cooper, the other teams involved in that. And then they'll be at the Blaine Duels on Saturday, so a lot of action for the Cardinals upcoming. Gymnastics team, after a nearly 2-week rest, got back at it on Saturday with a tournament, the Royals Invite in Rogers. The Cardinals finished in 8th place. Lana Vang, a 17th place finish on the vault. Ada Drummy was 24th on the bars. Arilli was 24th on the beam with an identical score. Ada Drummy was 24th on the floor. She's their top finisher in the all-around, finishing 15th, with Lana Vang right behind her in 16th. Then on Monday, a dual meet for the Cardinals against Elk River. They lose, but look at the number that Elk River puts up. A 140 is just downright gaudy.
Yeah, it's huge
for high school gymnastics. More impressive to me, the 114 for the Cardinals. That's about a 2.5-point bettering of their season best in that event right there. So good to see those numbers on the rise. Cardinals finishing essentially 5th, 6th in every event because Elk River put up a number of great scores in every event to post a 140. Just one regular season event left for the gymnastics team. They'll be at Champlin Park on Wednesday along with Osseo, and then sections will be a week from Thursday.
Nice to see them get that 114. Well, the swimming and diving team closed out their regular season schedule last week with a trip to Maple Grove to face off with the Crimson. Maple Grove is the reigning conference champion, and the Cardinals knew they wouldn't have the depth needed to challenge the Crimson as a team. So what they were looking for was everyone to have solid races, and that's exactly what they got. Tyler Schultz is having an outstanding senior year, and he's almost guaranteed to get the Cards 2 first-place finishes every night. His time in the 200 freestyle was his best since his sophomore season, and he also grabbed the gold in the 100 breaststroke. Mitch Tronson, one of the big stories of the season as far as emerging talent. The sophomore has been incredibly competitive in a number of events. He took second in the 50 free against Maple Grove in a time of 24.82. Next time in the water, he wasn't going to settle for the runner-up. Tronson again this time in the 100 butterfly. He has a strong finish to secure the win by a fingertip, less than 0.2 of a second. Jackson Ling, another Cardinal making waves in the pool. I see what you did there. The freshman took second place in the 100 freestyle in a time of 57.59. Nice finish there. And the 200 freestyle relay team, Schultz, Tronson, Nate Larson, and Nolan Schultz turned in its best time of the season, 136.17, just about a second off pace to be the school's all-time top 15. But unfortunately, the Cardinals fall to the Crimson 94-83, but a pretty solid finish, Joe, considering who they were swimming against.
Well, and again, it's about the times, and they are seeing the times
they are
coming down, and it's decision time for Coach Donaldson and his swimmers, because they have a number of guys that are very strong in a number of different events. They can swim all 4 strokes.
Yep.
They can do different distances. But now they have to decide who's going where for sections, which one is going to give guys the best chance to advance and hopefully represent Coon Rapids at the state tournament. I think all of those guys you talked about have an opportunity to at least push for one of those top positions in the section and a trip down there. Certainly hope Tyler is able to do it as a senior. But again, another team that has a lot of depth pieces that are very young. The two young sophomores that we have been talking a lot about in Schultz and Tronson, it takes a while when you lose a big class like they did last year to regroup, but they have done a nice job this season, and it'll be interesting to see what comes of their section races. They do have the Northwest Suburban Conference match on Thursday. They host Champlin Park. The winner will be in 9th place in the section. By the way, Maple Grove is hosting the first place meet against Spring Lake Park, so they could be defending champions. Sections, they have a couple weeks. It's at the end of the month, 24th through the 26th. Well, the Nordic ski teams were at Elm Creek for a Classic 5K, the final tune-up before the conference championships. Both teams had a great day on the trails, improving the Cardinals team position in the standings and showing that these teams are ready for the biggest races of the year. Senior Lila Gilliard leading a very young Cardinals team all season, and she's continued to get stronger and faster. And so have her younger teammates, especially all of the middle school talent, where they've seen a ton of improvement all year. Gilliard has been the one of the fastest on every course all season long. She's been in really especially good the last couple of weeks. She finished second in just over 16 minutes. 8th grader Stella Bone is next to the line, 18th place in 1939. Ruby Demmer, the fastest 7th grader on the course, tying for 27th place, crossing the line in 20 minutes, 57 seconds. Megan Fuller, Liz Hogarth, and Ava Kerr finish 31st, 32nd, and 33rd. Cardinals are 3rd place as a team. The boys team does have a little bit more experience, especially at the top, and they're hoping their depth will make a difference during tournament time. Cardinals with 3 top 10 finishes at Elm Creek last Thursday. Of course, section and state meets will be very different this year. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Junior Aaron Casey led the way for the Cardinals. 2nd place finish in 14:06. Senior Ryan Powley was just 12 seconds off that pace to take 4th place. Senior Josh Thoen came in 7th with a time of 14:24. Junior Peyton Martinek and freshman Lachlan Demmer finish in 23rd and 31st places respectively, putting the Cardinals in 2nd place as a team.
A nice finish for the Cardinals to finish 2nd there.
And they have a couple of seniors, but they also have Martinek and Casey who are juniors, and then Lachlan Demmer getting into that top 5. He's just a freshman, so they're coming at it from all levels. But what changes now is the format, and it's going to mean a big difference as far as how many people end up going to state. They added relay sprints, so you're either going to compete in a pursuit or you're going to compete in a relay sprint. There's going to be so many going in this camp and so many going in this camp, and if other teams have racers that will maybe make way for more people to get to state, it's kind of a cool.
It is pretty cool. I like the way they do that.
It's a cool idea. It's based on how they do things in the Olympics. Other events, same sport.
Right.
But it means a different style and different strategies for teams to get as many, not only athletes, but and still try and get their whole team there.
Yep, exactly.
So the Northwest Suburban Conference Championships were held on Monday at Worth Park, and they did the same thing. They had a pursuit race.
Yep.
They had a bracket-style tournament for the relay sprints. The boys team overall finished in 3rd place. Top finisher was Aaron Casey, Josh Thoen in 14th, and Ryan Powley in 17th. All 3 are all conference. Peyton Martinek was in 28th place overall in 31 minutes, 24.2 seconds. The relay team of Ludwig and Demmer was also all-conference, finishing in 6th place. For the girls, Lila Gilliard, 3rd place overall. Stella Bone, the 8th grader, also making all-conference in 22nd. Demmer and then Fuller. The teams of Lowe and Kerr and Martinick and Dutton both got to the semifinal round in the sprint relays, but did not make it to the championship. So upcoming, they have the section race a week from Thursday, and then the state race will be Wednesday, Thursday, the 16th and 17th. Yeah. And again, I'm guessing we'll see the same athletes in the pursuit at sections that were in it and conference, but that's to be decided. Alpine ski team had its regular season finale last week at Wild Mountain. Cardinals boys finished in 10th place. Top finisher was Joe Van Norman. Sartwell was in 71st. Jesse Chesser was in 77th place. Simon was in 80th place, 86th place for Olsby, and Dylan Bone was in 89th. On the girls' side, a 7th place finish, Mary Olson in 22nd. That's about where she finished for the season, just missing the all-conference mark. Shelby Robidoux was in 26th, Hafferman in 36th, Sheck in 47th for Beek, and then Staley for the Cardinals. They have section tournament next Tuesday. That's up in Biwabik, and then that is the same place up at Giants Ridge, where state tournament will be held on Wednesday, the 16th. Boys basketball team has been on a roll, and they kept it going against Centennial, winning their 5th straight, 68-62, to push their record to 11-3. A double-double, 2 lucky number 13s for K. Cummings Coleman, C-squared as we call him. Ellingson was in with 13 points and 4 blocks in the contest. Galama had a dozen, Beck added 11, and Elijah Smith, a double-double also for the Lizard, boards. 11 and 10.
The Cardinals flying high going into Thursday's game with Andover, one of the most anticipated matchups of the entire season. The Huskies were considered a slight favorite in the section standings, and they'd waited a long time to avenge their loss to the Cardinals in last year's semifinals. Coon Rapids would need everybody on their team if they hoped they would keep their win streak intact. The Cardinals' first 10 points was from 2 of each of their 5 starters. But once Kaijon Cummings Coleman started to feel it, they continued to feed him. C-squared starting a career night with 18 points in the first half. There were 4 ties and 9 lead changes in the first half, but the Cardinals closed strong. Ellingson's 3-pointer helps them to a 37-31 lead at the break. How that back and forth continues in the second. Elijah Smith jumping on his chance, taking it all alone for the Jam. He had 11 points against the Huskies. Andover able to steal the moment midway through the second. Landon Nelson finishing a fast break that once again changed the leader on the board. Then Luke Jacobson takes over. He had 3 unanswered 3-pointers. That put the Huskies in front for the final frame. The Cardinals are keeping it close at the end. KCC another 3. He had a career best 27, which led all scores. Nice night for the youngster in Andover's. Sam Masungo held scoreless in the first. He had 13 points in the second. And the Huskies hold on for the 71-66 win.
Talk about the one that got away. That was it. As well as the Maple Grove one. But that one was a little bit heartbreaking is just because of the way the pendulum swung in favor of the Huskies at the end. Cardinals bounced back well, though, and beat Duluth East 88-60. They thumped the Greyhounds. 23 points from both Galama and Cummings. That's 50 points, if you're counting, by the way, over the last 2 games for young C-squared.
Not bad.
Or KCC.
9 boards.
Yeah, they've been outstanding. 12-4 could easily be 15-1.
They could.
But
you digress.
I do digress. It's been fantastic ride, and the challenge of all challenges in front of them. They do have home court advantage on Wednesday, but they are hosting the number 1 team in the state, Totino Grace. The Eagles, although they are a 3A team, they are considered to be better than all of the
they're
4A
good.
teams.
They're good.
All 3 of their losses coming to outstate teams, and
they beat
already.
Park Center
I was going to say
earlier,
they went head-to-head with 4A number 1 Park Center, and they came out on top. Well, the girls basketball team with the pair games last week against tough conference and section rivals. On Tuesday, the Cardinals played host to the Centennial Cougars. Centennial was trying to bounce back after a 2-point loss to Maple Grove that ended their 4-game win streak. They're currently ranked 2nd in the section, and the Cougars pounced on the Cardinals immediately. Centennial off and running from the opening tip. Marissa Frost slashing her way through the paint. She had a team-high 14, and the Cougars led by double digits early. Coon Rapids not going down without a fight. Delana Washburn dials long distance and connects. She had 10 points against Centennial. Jenny Tomway with another huge game. Beautiful spin move to the lane right here. Hits the little floater. She scored more than 20 for the 5th time in 6 games. Fast break, Tomway again, bucket and the bump. Cardinals keeping it close throughout, just an 8-point game at the half. Tomway stays hot into the second off a steal, pulls up and hits a jumper. Game high 21 points for Tomway. That at least made the Cougars fight to the finish, and they did just that. Frost with a beautiful feed to Camille Cummings underneath. Cougars hold on for a 55-46 win. Would have been nice.
It would have been.
But that's a very tough opponent.
Yep.
Another tough one and another close game. And that's the great thing about the Cardinals right now is, they're losing, but they're losing closer contests. Not this one.
No.
Against Andover, they lost handily, 65-34. That is without the services of Jenny Tomway, who was ill for that contest.
Yeah, exactly. That's a tough one anytime you're missing your best player. The Cardinals had a rare Monday game this week, hosting non-conference opponent Mounds View. The Mustangs were a couple of games below 500 and had won 3 of their previous 4. Still, the Cardinals saw this as an opportunity and then very nearly took it. Cardinals start the game right. Jenny Tomway strong on the baseline for the first points of the game, and Coon Rapids just kept feeding number 34. Tomway in close off the feed. It was from Camille Washburn. You can see it here. The Cardinals actually leading the entire way. Tomway had 13 of her high 17 in the first half. Cardinals led as much by 14 in the first, just trying to keep that lead in the second. Casey Beck, as you saw, coming here underneath. 2 of her 8 in the game. The Mustangs are going to close it out strong, though. The first lead of the game comes 3.5 minutes remaining. Mounds View controlled the end of the game, securing the win with a 19-2 run. And the Cardinals fell by a score of 43-38. Joe, in a game that they really should have had their first win.
The one that got away again.
That one that got away.
The one that got away. So CTN shows up to 2 basketball games just a couple of days apart, and both teams lose leads. Maybe it's us.
I was going to say, you're saying it's us. It could be.
Cardinals are at Totino on Wednesday. They are at Champlain Park on Friday, and we are going to continue to visit Coon Rapids sports, and hopefully we're there to see a win. We will have Jeremy Smith and our web stream at the gymnastics meet at Champlain Park on Thursday. We will be at that regular season finale for the girls hockey team against the Rogers Royals on Friday. And then next Tuesday, we'll see the boys hockey team taking on Simley. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including the incredibly patient Mike Burlingame behind the camera, and my partner, Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.